totally flub that outro a
No,
little bit.
you didn't say about the
work.
Pursuing Pixels though. So
I thought I started to say it, and then I was like, and then I said something about John being here next week, and then I was like, did I say it? I can't remember. Hey everybody, welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with Randall Nolery.
Hey folks. And
it's just the two of us here to kick off the new year for our first, I guess, proper episode of the new year. We're missing John tonight, of course, but he'll be back for the next one, I'm sure. He's hanging out with a buddy who happens to be in town visiting at the moment, but Randall and I have had plenty of time to get some video gaming in over the holiday break. We took we kind of stockpiled some episodes before the end of the year rolled around. So at least for me, I had tons of time to just kind of sink my teeth into some games.
Nice.
Been kind of bouncing all over the place. I don't know about yourself, but
a little bit. Yeah. There's some stuff I'm holding back on for next time too. When John's around, that I've been bouncing with quite well during that holiday break. So yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Same here. It's not often that I have, like, I was jotting down, like, I ran out of room on, like, I kind of like divide my little sheets of paper for the notes for the podcast in like half. For like the first half's everything I'm kind of just writing down, keeping track of what we've been playing throughout, since last time we all talked. And then the bottom is where I kind of take all the notes for, like, hey, this is what we actually talked about, and like in the order, and we'll like jot down some like possible episode names as I'm editing and stuff like that.
Nice.
So like this time I actually ran out of real estate of all the stuff I was jotting down just for me on the top half of the page, to where I started in my other Save It for the Cast notebook. I filled that half of the page with the stuff I've been playing. I was like, man, I could talk about any of these today on any version of the podcast. So I'm loaded up, and some of it I've just been dabbling, but I've been sinking my teeth into some games too. So
love that,
which is kind of rare for me. So
yeah, it is.
But
that's what the break's for, though.
Exactly. But yeah, I think you've been playing the newest game out of the two of us here, so why don't we let you take the lead here? I don't know how deep you've sunken your teeth into this one, but I guess we'll find out here.
Yeah, so still have Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, and it is, though, as of this recording, the final year of that for me, in that I stacked a whole bunch of Game Pass codes up, which they let you do up through, I think, like 3 years or something. And often, if you're savvy enough and on Slick Deals or wherever, you can find, buy this type of Game Pass code and it'll transfer into this much of the Ultimate code or whatever, and then stack, go into future years. Everything's gravy. But now that Xbox has decided they don't need to worry about being a video game company in service of its user base or fans, I'm going to let that lapse, but I'm still getting value in the meantime from my purchase from several years ago with Game Pass, because I am playing Marvel Cosmic Invasion, which is a side-scrolling beat-em-up. Just came out in December 1st. So, like, super brand new, like, same day on Game Pass. So, pretty cool to access that. It was on my radar because Tribute Games is the main developer, and they do some just incredible sprite artwork, just beautiful 2D visuals on their games.
No doubt about it.
We've already spoken on this podcast in the past. I'm pretty positive about Shredder's Revenge. So
we've talked about quite a few of their games, actually. Like even back to the early days, like Flint Hook, and then we talked a little Panzer Paladin, which that one, you get hit or miss. It's not a bad game or a great game. It's just kind of a solid game.
Pretty
but, like,
game, though.
Everything they do, like you said, the pixel art and like the presentation never fails. And especially, it's funny you actually mentioned this game, because I was just playing that Turtles Shredder's Revenge with my nephew.
Nice.
Not this time, not today, but last time I was babysitting with them.
Yeah,
and I could tell he was into it for sure. Like he keeps asking, like, we haven't played it again since, but he keeps going, "You got Turtles?" Like when he's looking at my collection of games, I'm like, "Yep, I got it with me again."
That's so cute.
So
yeah,
I'm real curious to hear about this new iteration, I guess, on Tribute's beat 'em up formula.
Shredder's Revenge is an excellent beat 'em up too.
It really is.
And
it's just
polish
oozing,
on that sucker.
Yeah.
Just
oozing with energy and personality. It's like out of control.
Yes.
I'm hoping it's the same here with Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
Yes. maybe not quite on that level to me, as compared to what Shredder's Revenge was doing and taking inspiration from Turtles in Time and Hyperstone Heist and those and Turtles Arcade and those games to make the new one. But it is still good. Marvel Cosmic Invasion, like I said, side-scrolling beat 'em up. Sprite art, the 2D art is beautiful yet again. It's a great thing to look at. And it's still kind of fun to play modern 2D beat 'em ups in like just that widescreen TV format is still a little bit novel to me anyway. And it's just so like lush and super colorful, of course, being, comic book based IP here. Is a lot of fun. Tons of characters that you can play as. And granted, I think like most people cooled on a lot of the Marvel stuff, not super duper interested in most Marvel things. It's been so hyper saturated these days as an IP. But
totally agreed.
But even Marvel with like the X-Men arcade and otherwise has a history of beat 'em up games anyway. So there's some lineage to pull from there, and you can play as like Wolverine, and you can play as Storm and some of those characters that were in that original X-Men arcade, but then a lot of new characters as well. Obviously you had Captain America and Iron Man, I think then too, but now you have,
they had some of those like that Avengers beat 'em up game that had like Iron Man and Hawkeye and stuff like that. Yeah.
Those
Captain
are pretty
America.
good.
I used to love that game because you didn't see it around as often.
No.
Like Turtles and X-Men, you saw those everywhere.
Yes.
Every now and then you'd be like, oh, what's this other beat 'em up that looks just as colorful?
And it does. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Like it's like held up against those behemoths that those were. And the credit I will give it, even though I'm not as into the modern Marvel stuff, is they do have like some of the modern characters and they brought them into the same sort of format. Like Black Panther is in there and playable. Like,
oh, cool.
She-Hulk is in there and is playable. You've got even Spider-Man can be a little hit and miss as far as being available in some of these games, but is there like Venom, Silver Surfer, Rocket Raccoon.
Dang. So they have like a huge roster. That's massive. One thing they maybe have going for them a little over. I know they added a ton of even like kind of side or extra characters to Turtles as well.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's even obviously way more to pull from the entire Marvel universe.
Tons. And they I think there's 15 and, some of them you have to unlock through playing levels and stuff. And the other reason why there's that many is one of the gameplay conceits is it's kind of almost like a tag team fighting game where you select two characters when you start a given level.
Nice.
And then you can tag them in and out as you would in like, those kind of 32-bit style fighting games. A lot of them did that as well.
Yeah.
And it's cool. And that works really well. And it's fun because some characters can fly and are better for like aerial attack enemies. And some characters, like your Wolverines and your She-Hulks might be more ground based, but like heavy damage type of characters. So you can kind of intermix those two depending on scenario, to have like one of each type of those characters. And they play quite differently and they have different special moves, of course, and everything else. And there's plenty of complexity in the control for like grappling and the things you can do off of grapple and things you can do off of comboing them into the air and the types of attacks, or like hit them up in the air, grab them, out of the air and then pile drive them and do whatever else. Like there a lot of these beat 'em ups lately have done more to bridge the gap between what a beat 'em up is and what like a traditional fighting game is for the controls.
Totally agreed.
Going back to even like Streets of Rage 4, but like,
that's exactly what I was going to mention.
Which to be honest, I kind of wanted to play. I have Streets of Rage 4 on my Xbox as well, and I kind of wanted to turn that on, but I knew I'd be like, I want to play this more instead. But this is still this is still good. It's still fun, and like Tina and I've got 2 Xbox arcade sticks, so we played with the arcade sticks, and that was awesome that way too. And soundtrack is fun enough, and I don't know that it's again on the like Shredder's Revenge level or Streets of Rage 4 level for me that way, but it was still fun that way. Didn't beat the game, but I played we played a good, God, like 13 levels of it. Like we played.
Oh, dang. Okay. So it's got some meat on the bones, kind of like Shredder's Revenge too. I remember that.
Yeah.
Had, like when we played that online, it was like, oh, this just keeps going. There's like 10, 12, you used to like the standard 8 levels.
Yeah.
If that,
yeah.
On a beat 'em up,
Yes. And short ones relatively at that, at least in the 16-bit days,
Yeah.
Here they can be a little bit longer. Some of that can feel a little bit like padding in that like your average enemy can sometimes take upwards of like 5 or 6 hits, and that can kill the pacing sometimes a little bit, or like you'll do that and you'll defeat just kind of these average enemies on screen, and then before it's letting you continue to scroll forward to the next section, more of like the exact same enemies then walk on screen for you to do it again. It's like you got to do a little bit more than that. And then like especially in one of the last levels I played where I was like, Tina and I just got our ass beat by this last level, and only last night, because I'm like, I'm going to talk about this game. Did I play it again? And I was able to beat it, but one of my characters died. But it's near the end, which is all fair. But there's this mechanic where one of the bad guys can shoot projectiles, but he's effectively just part of the background. You can't attack him, and he shoots his projectiles from the background at you in such a way that, because there's so much happening, it kind of obscures those attacks too. It's just, it doesn't feel great.
The perspective is always hard whenever they try to throw in like a 3D element to the play area and like a isometric beat 'em up like that.
Yeah.
It's always kind of hard to find the positioning. It's even sometimes kind of hard to just get yourself on the same like horizontal plane as the enemy you want to hit, let alone to dodge the attack,
Yes. Which, I mean, they do, like, for most other enemies that might be fast and might be, like, coming on screen super fast to hit you, they give you kind of like a leading indicator that that's about to happen if you are quick enough to notice. But for these, like, these one-off enemies, and there was multiple of them in this one level, in this, like, kind of, like, goopy swamp level, it was such a bummer. Like, it just killed my momentum with this game, and, like, the flow state, like, it just slowed everything way down, and it became much less fun to play. And it wasn't just because it was difficult. It just didn't feel as, I don't know, intuitive or flow statey.
Yeah, you got to keep that momentum going on a beat 'em up. Yeah, if you're all of a sudden stopping and starting, and it just doesn't feel as good, like you said.
Yeah, and it, like, granted, there's only 2 more levels, at least on the main screen of like level select, and it's the main screen for selecting levels is like a very streamlined, simplified, like Mario 3 kind of grid of levels. It even including the way where like it might branch off on the diagram where you could choose this level or this level to continue on to keep going. Like, but I'm a sicko, so I'm like, hey,
you gotta play them all.
Let's play this level too, even though we could move on to that. And maybe that also helped kill my momentum, because the game designers are trying to tell me that I don't have to play all those levels in one go. I could have came back.
You're meant to, like, this is to give you the reason to come back and play again. You don't have to do it all on this try.
Yes,
but I'm the same way. This game is a checklist, right? I have to do everything.
So I blame myself a little bit for that, for potentially killing some of my own and some of our own momentum too. But maybe we'll do the last couple levels. But that last level that I played, the third to last, was such a buzzkill that I'm not sure. And granted, I didn't pay any money for this, and it's ultimately a very well made thing. Like, if you can play this on Game Pass or try it out, there's fun to be had here, and it's, especially if you like any of the, like, Wolverine or any of these Marvel characters, like, it's pretty cool just to interact with and play. Like, there's a lot of polish here, let alone there's like challenges if you are good enough at it, that within level challenges of like, do this, like hit this type of enemy 5 times with this sort of attack, like in particular without getting like hit. Like, there's very specific things that you could accomplish on kind of that next tier of ability. I couldn't, but granted, it was my first time playing through, but there's a lot there for it ultimately being a beat 'em up. So ultimately glad I play it, but glad I've played through most of it, but yeah, not quite top tier. Maybe like that next level down is where I would slot it.
I don't want to put like words in your mouth, but it kind of sounds like it's like glad I played it on Game Pass.
Yes.
And glad I didn't like spend $30 on a physical copy of this game and have it in my collection, only for them to be like, oh, here's the actual full version of it a year later, like they did with Turtles. Like, and even that full version, because I bought that physically, and then they released a second physical version. And even that I don't think has everything. I think they've actually released more DLC with like 2 new characters and like some other stuff. So it's like, at this point, who cares? I like the box art better than the one that I have. So
for sure. And like, I'm not, on one level, I can't be upset that they're continuing to support that game, right? Like, it's cool that in
that
Turtles,
people care enough to make it worthwhile for them to do that.
Yeah, with new characters or I'm not sure exactly what they've added there, but like that's sweet alone. And the soundtrack and everything else that was in that title, like there was a lot there to begin with and such polish. But yeah, for me, it's Streets of Rage 4, then Turtles Revenge, and like there'd be a whole separate tier where this game would live underneath of those 2 tiers for the modern beat 'em ups anyway.
Yeah, I'd say that sounds about right. While you were talking about it, I pulled it up on Steam and was just kind of glancing at it. And I had seen it come up. I saw it in the recent releases on Switch and I was like, what's this? And then when you mentioned it was from Tribute, which I didn't catch before, I was like, oh, nice. Yeah. But it does look, just even at the screenshots, it just looks like a cut below Turtle Shredder's Revenge. Like it's lacking a little bit of that personality. The pixel art looks great at a glance, but it just doesn't have that hyper level of detail or something that, and granted, I'm just looking at this on my phone on tiny little pictures,
I think that's fair though.
Take that with a grain of salt, but it just looks like it's a little like, it's just like, let's cram as much Marvel stuff as we can in here. Like Turtles seems like it had a little more of a vision or a focus behind it.
Definitely. And the labor of love and the polish was just so obvious there on that Turtles game and on the Streets of Rage game, but for how much they've supported. Yeah. Well, and both of them got DLC. So, I mean, who knows if this one will too, but those games were labors of love, and you can tell, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know, unless you got anything more to add on there. I feel like we can move on.
It's good for now. It's at least I've got it on Game Pass. Maybe I'll go back if we want to pop out the arcade sticks to play those last 2 levels. Maybe they won't have annoying stuff in them, and it will be worth it just to close it out. Yeah. But yeah, I'm good for now.
Well, honestly, it's making me miss having Game Pass a little bit because, like I said, it's kind of the perfect game for that. I don't really want to spend money on this game, but if I already have a service that's going to offer me up this game on a platter, sure, I'll check it out.
Totally, 100% is that, like, to a T.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Well, I guess I'll just move right on into a not new game, but new game for me. I just scooped it up recently. It was on sale for $3, and I was honestly waiting to scoop up a physical copy of this game. Yeah. The game is called Gimmick 2.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe we've talked about Gimmick or Mr. Gimmick.
We had to have.
The original NES game. Or actually, I always say NES game, but I feel like it's technically a Famicom game.
It is, yes.
Because it never came out in America.
Correct, because the original Gimmick / Mr. Gimmick was Famicom first, and it had like the extra obscenely crazy sound chip and soundtrack.
That's right.
That came along with that, let alone the ridiculousness of pulling off physics on and the type of like hardware that is that platform is obscene. But it was Famicom first in Japan, and then I think within the next year or two, it was a PAL release in Europe. And that's
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I know like you picked up like kind of like a not a home brew, but like a, fan made or like,
reproduction.
Yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah.
Broken
reproduction cart that didn't work. You gave it to me. Didn't work on my machine either. I think I still have that cartridge floating around somewhere. But nonetheless, they've like re-released the original Gimmick, which I have on Switch, like a physical cartridge of that.
I've got that, and they did do a limited run of the NES version of Gimmick, so I have that coming to me at some point as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Still not the Famicom version with the extra soundtrack, but that literally goes for like $500 so it's kind of hard to go that route, even though it looks cute.
And speaking of hard, the original Gimmick is like it's like one of the most it's like an oxymoron of a game because you look at it and it looks like a cute little Kirby game. And, here's a cute little simple platformer. And then it just leans into those physics mechanics like you wouldn't believe.
Immediately.
And then it just Yeah, right off the bat, and it's a
Yes.
short game. I think there's only like 5 or 6 levels, and it just gets right to the punch. It doesn't pull any punches. Like that game is not messing around.
No,
even on these new re-releases that have like full rewind features, it doesn't really make the game that much easier.
No.
But the main like core conceit of this game, he plays this little like green character. It's side-scrolling platformer, and then like the main mechanic, you can like form this little star above your head in both the original and this Gimmick 2, and then you can throw that star kind of like on a downward like 45-degree angle. You're almost like spiking it into the ground.
Yep.
And then it will like kind of bounce along the ground, eventually just roll or like sliding along the ground, almost like it's on ice or something.
Yeah.
But like you can use that star to kill. I don't know if you can kill enemies in the original game.
Yeah, you can.
You definitely can in the new one.
Yep, both.
But you can use it as like a projectile.
Yep.
Or you can throw it, and then if you can time it just right, you can jump on top of the star with Gimmick and then ride it like a little vehicle or something. So it's been a little while since I've played the original, but jumping into Gimmick 2 now, and Gimmick 1, it's a great like game in the sense of like the historical aspect of it. It's really cool to experience and see it in action and feel the physics and like, holy shit, they had this was working on an NES. Like, this is crazy.
It's ridiculous.
But
yeah,
it kind of, at the end of the day, the challenge kind of, and like the finickiness of the controls and this and that just kind of make it a little bit of a chore to play.
And let's be fair too, that there's a lot of try it again. Like you it's like that old school retro design of like, you're going to run into the wall first and you're going to die, and then you're going to learn that you're going to die when you run into the wall kind of approach. Like, you go into a level area and the bottom falls out, and you remember next time that the bottom is going to fall out. Like, there's some unfairness to that original Gimmick design that is just trial and error, and you have to get used to it.
You're just like, oh, that's how I'm gonna die, almost like Limbo style. Like, oh, I gotta die first before I realize that I have to do this to dodge that.
But the rest of it is so interesting. The presentation is so unbelievable that to me, it's worth the pain.
Like, you want to see more of it.
Yes.
You want to see more of it.
Yes.
And so what Gimmick 2 does right is that it just takes every single element of what the original did and then just polishes it up to where it actually feels like doable. It's still hard. It's by no means like an easy game. It's actually one of the coolest things about the game. When you first boot it up, it has you pick between assist mode and Gimmick mode, and you have to actually do a platforming challenge to get to Gimmick mode. And it's set up. It's if you're familiar with like the end of stages in Super Mario Land on the Game Boy, it's set up just like that. So you can just walk along, go the low path, and you'll end up at assist mode.
Yep.
Or if you ride the slope down, you like start at the top of this like hill, you ride the slope down, and if you jump right at the right time, you'll land on this little platform.
Oh, that's so
and it crumbles immediately, and you got to do like 2 little quick jumps. But if you can do that little platforming challenge, then you can get to Gimmick mode. And
that's
you can
incredible.
Later on, once you start the game, you can just pause it and switch it, you don't have to do that challenge again.
That's amazing.
But it's the perfect way to just be like, hey, if I can do this challenge, okay, I'm cut out for this Gimmick mode.
I love
If
that.
I can't do this, I'm just going to go right to assist mode. It's right off the bat. Amazing.
Beautiful
then
modern
on top of
take
that,
on that. That's so cool.
Yeah, and to be fair, I didn't even try assist mode, so I don't know what that would change to the game. But even this little platforming challenge, it took me a few tries to even do that. And I'm like, okay, this game is not messing around. But once I got it, I was like, okay, I got it down. And we've talked, I think, even before, Randall, when we saw this game originally, like the art style didn't grab me right away. It's got kind of like this hand-drawn, illustrated or animated style that, like, it doesn't look bad by any means, but it's like real clean and kind of like, if you just see a still of it, it looks like it's lacking a little character. It just looks a little kind of flash gamey or something.
It comes off a little kind of like modern game generic in the screenshots, I would say. Yeah.
And it is a little bit of that, but I think when you combine that with, like, they got David Wise on the soundtrack from
so
Donkey Kong Country fame.
That's a big
deal.
And
it immediately, you can hear it. You're like, you can like, you're just like, oh, who is doing, like, this is good music, like right off the bat.
That.
And like that just
He's
like makes the world feel more alive, and like it's just got this like softness and this playfulness to the music that just really sucks you in. And then the gameplay, like I said, they just took everything about the game, but it's just like there's like checkpoints everywhere, there's collectibles everywhere, and it just feels like so much more intuitive. You'll see like this little tube, and you're like, oh, I bet you I can bounce the star if I jump here, I can bounce the star up into that tube and it'll launch out and pop out on the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And then I can ride it across the water and like there's like little boxes. You can just pick them up. I don't know if you could do that in the other game, in the original, but you can just pick them up and stack them. And
Good
like,
question.
so in one level you had to like pick up this box and then jump in the water, swim, go right into the middle of this little pool, put the box in the middle so that you could then climb back up to the top and then take your star, spike it so that it lands right on the box and gets a perfect bounce so that it then lands right in a tube. But again, like on the NES, you would maybe see something like that, but then you'd try it like 100 times before you'd maybe get it once or see, oh, you can do it. But I still didn't like successfully pull off the maneuver. I just saw that you can get up there, but I still don't know how to do it. This game, it's like you can try it a few times and you're like, oh, there we go. And just like the checkpoint system and the, like, for example, like every level is broken up into like 4 chunks, it seems. And like once you get to like, there'll be like this character that acts as like a checkpoint, and there's other checkpoints beyond that. Yeah. But like they're kind of like a main, like, you know, like a fast travel point. And so once you get to the 4th one or even the 2nd one, you can just like, once you get to that character, you just press a button, it takes you back to the 1st one. And then, oh, you don't want to go there, it takes you to the 2nd one. And each one of those, if you go to the pause menu, it shows you like in that first chunk, there were 3 collectibles and you got 2 out of 3 of them. So you can like, oh, I want to go back and clean that up. Like, it's just so great.
Love that.
With that. But it also, it looks like it's a short game. Like I beat the first and the 2nd level and it said I was 25% done. And I was missing a lot of the collectibles. So it looks like it's very much like it's got that same like world map, just like the original one did. Like it just has like 5-6 levels on it. And covered up by clouds that, you know, get uncovered as you clear more levels. But it's just amazing. Like, it's seriously, I was telling you before we jumped on here, but this is the most fun I've had with a 2D platformer in a long time. Oh, man. I played the first level once. I think they might have even had a demo. No, I think I just picked it up. I played it once just to like test it out. Then I played it again just to like, because I was having fun. And then I played it again to record a video. And even the 3rd time ripping through the first level, I was like, this is just as much fun as it was the first time. It still took like 15 minutes to beat the level. Like the levels are huge.
I mean, the original Gimmick levels are relatively big for the time too. So that kind of holds true as well.
Yeah, they are just like knocking it out of the park on this game. I absolutely love it. Like the one thing that I didn't think was speaking my language was the visuals, and like it's maybe not like, I mean, I maybe would have preferred a pixel art or you know, some other different aesthetic, but in action and seeing it, you know, in full motion, and all the collectibles are like, you know, a different hat for Gimmick to wear, or a different color for him to be, or a different, you know, necklace, or just different like aesthetics for him to just wear that you can take on or off at any time. And I don't know, it's just, you know, normally it's a $20 game, and I mean, depending on the length, it might be a little bit on the short side, but for the polish you're getting here, I definitely wouldn't have been mad. And I still am, you know, I was thinking about grabbing this one physically. And for $3, I was like, even if I end up grabbing it physically, like I'm not going to be mad about having it at the ready for $3. So
no, and especially like the history with Gimmick and like the just, I don't know, Gimmick is kind of like a mythical kind of figure, even though there's now only still been 2 games. Like it's just kind of one of those things. And like you're saying you could replay the first level and have just as much fun. It's because the mechanics are so unique and well developed in Gimmick, unlike a lot of other games, just like that star throw. And I don't know does Gimmick 2 have like the original Gimmick where there's also like bombs or like the pink orbs that you could upgrade and throw those at enemies directly instead of just the star, or is it mostly just the star focus here?
Not that if that is there, it's maybe later in the game. Okay. I did play through the 2nd level as well, but I didn't see anything other than the star.
Yeah, which is fair. Point. They probably built it just around that because that's good enough, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm so psyched. I got the collector's edition of this because, you know, I was saying this before. My daughter is like a big Gimmick fan. I got the special edition of the first Gimmick as well because it was, you know, one of my kind of like white whales to get that Famicom version, which is I will not at this point. But I did get like the special edition on Switch when that re-released, and got the stuffy with it. That that's like one of my daughter's favorite stuffies. And then so I'm getting the collector's. I did go for the collector's edition of 2 the same way, and I'm very pleased that I did, because I think it also has soundtrack and like a little figure and stuff. And
nice.
I'm so excited about that now. I think it's going to be showing up soon. So that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah, it has not left I've got it sitting in my Amazon cart, the physical copy, and like me buying it digitally did not change the status of that being in my cart, because I'm same boat as you. I've got the physical like re-release of Switch, not the special edition, but just like the regular re-release of the original. And it'd be nice to put that Gimmick 2 right on the shelf right next to it. So
absolutely.
But nonetheless, I mean, I was giddy while I was playing this game, and it's not very often that I feel that.
Unique 2D platforming action. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, that's really cool.
And it also is just cool, like you keep seeing, like with all these games that, or series or whatever that they're kind of bringing back from Sunsoft.
Yeah.
And like a lot of these times when it's like, it's just a cash grab. It's they got, Atari got bought out by some company, and now they're owned by this. And it's like, it's got their name on it,
nostalgia
but it's not really
grab alone.
Yeah, it doesn't really like have that. And this, like these Sunsoft re-releases, a lot of them, this one probably the most out of any of them, or not re-releases, reimaginings, whatever, reboots. But this one really feels like, oh man, whoever worked on this like clearly had a passion for the original game and really wanted to like show what that design could have done.
I love that.
It's awesome. It's awesome stuff.
That so much.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
I hope I'm not overhyping it, but I really had a blast with this game, or am having a blast, and continue to keep chipping away at it.
I don't think you are overhyping it anyway, because I was looking at screenshots and happened upon a couple of reviews that seemed to echo your sentiments. So I'm very excited to play this.
That was another thing that kind of had me steering and like, I'm just going to grab this because $3 is too good. And I've heard too many people say that this game is awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, just fantastic stuff. And then I guess if we're good to move on from there, I've just been doing some other Nintendo gaming on the side that I feel like we could just both kind of touch on here a little bit. I've talked about a handful of the Yoshi games over the years on the podcast. I think most recently I talked about Yoshi's New Island, or New Yoshi's Island, whatever it's called, the one on the 3DS. I think it's Yoshi's New Island.
Yeah.
And I played through like a world and a half of that one and kind of ran out of steam, just on like the difficulty and the open-ended level design and just certain like little annoyances with that game. But then it got me thinking like, oh, what about Yoshi's Island DS? I remember that game having some interesting ideas with the 2 screens, and you could actually like scroll between like which screen your character was on. And then they, on top of Baby Mario, had like Baby Peach and Baby DK and Baby Wario that all had like different abilities in and of themselves, which, I'm always a sucker for like any kind of Mega Man game, any kind of anything where you're like getting new abilities or new, even Mario, like give me the Tanuki suit, give me the frog suit, give me this or that. Like I just love getting different power-ups to play around with.
Yep.
And to be fair, I didn't play a ton of Yoshi's Island DS either. I got about a world in or a world and a half in. Got to where I unlocked Baby Peach. She gets like a little umbrella, and there's like some little wind gusts on different levels that you can like hold instead of doing a flutter jump, she just busts out her umbrella and you can ride that gust along. And it does seem like there's clearly going to be, like I saw some like vines, or no, I did get Baby DK as well, because I was like grabbing onto vines and clinging onto those, and I did see some of those vines on earlier levels before I even unlocked DK. So I'm like, oh, there's clearly like not necessarily Metroidvania, but you're in a good way. It kind of nudged me away from like, oh, I got to go for 100% on my first run, because you can't even do it in a lot of cases because you need these other characters. So it did nudge me away from it in that direction.
Yeah,
but it just something about. I think what I really kind of boiled it down to, I was thinking about all the different Yoshi games, and nothing like Yoshi's Island, all the original, any of they're all pretty good, to be honest.
Oh, I think so
I'd
too.
say like.
I played
like
through Yoshi's Island DS, and I thought, at least, granted, I played through it when it came out, like that long ago.
Yeah, I played a little of it back then, but not probably about the same I played now.
Yeah, and I did like it then, but we were also very hard up for anything like Yoshi. There had not been much Yoshi when that came out. It was kind of exciting and a big deal.
That one felt like it came out of nowhere, sort of like, oh man, they're like bringing this series back.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I would probably say like the weakest of the bunch, and probably the exception to what I'm about to say, is Yoshi's Story on the Nintendo 64. It's like a little open ended, a little bit just lacking,
a little slower,
it's just a little short, yeah. But I do think, other than that game, and I guess I'm just mostly talking about Yoshi's Woolly World and Crafted World, the formula is exactly the same in those games and the Yoshi's Island games, except they just get rid of Baby Mario or any of the babies.
Yeah.
And it just works so much better. It's just so annoying to constantly, and I know I like broken record, you don't need me to tell you this, but like it's just so annoying to have to, and I don't even care about the sound of the baby. It's just so annoying to be like, or especially if you're trying to go for 100% or anything like that. It just really hampers. And the fact that, like, for example, on Yoshi's Island DS, I can see that there's like 2 extra levels at the end of this world if I do get 100% on each stage, or if I do whatever the other challenge is, maybe to unlock the other one. But like I'm missing actual stuff that the developers designed. So like it's kind of annoying in that regard, that you just have to like, you have to be in like some kind of insane flow state to 100% these levels, right, without taking damage. Because part of 100%ing is getting to the end of the level, essentially not without taking damage, but almost
right, by recollecting the stars to get back to 100% health and whatever else. Yeah,
which are relatively limited and like where they're placed. So it's just like, it's really specific on like, okay, if you've made it to this point, you can't take any damage after this, or else you're on your own. So it's just, I've just found that like playing some of the older ones, as charming as they are and as cool as they are and as inventive as they are, I'll take Yoshi's Woolly World or Crafted World any day over those old ones, as great as they are, and as much as those 2 games wouldn't be able to be what they are without those, ones that came before it laying the groundwork.
That's probably totally fair, to be honest with you. And like Fiona and I have been playing some Yoshi's Woolly World in particular on Wii U.
Nice.
And having a great time.
That's a really cool game.
It's so good.
And still pretty hard. They're all pretty decently hard, to be honest. Even if you're not going for 100%.
Definitely agree. And this, especially if you want to check out all the little special areas and like, oh, there's this little secret thing here. If we want to unlock the special color Yoshis in Woolly World, get all the skeins of yarn and whatever else in the level, and oops, we missed one of them somehow, so we'd have to play that level again if we want to do that. But that game's a delight, and so is Crafted World. From what I remember, they're very like they're very much like a yin and yang. They're of the same sort of design concepts.
Cut from the same cloth, no pun intended, but
yeah, they are. And to be fair to Yoshi's Story, even though it's a little bit slow and whatever else, like I love the presentation that they went for in that game too. I think it's very adorable, and the whole like pop-up book thing was super well done and super cool.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that pop-up book element. And to be fair, that could be said actually about every single Yoshi game. I feel like they always try to like, other than I guess Yoshi's Island DS is leaning into the original style quite a bit, but they always are kind of even the new one that's on its way. It's going for like a claymation stop motion kind of style. Like they're always kind of reinventing the way it looks.
Yes. And I'm even though I am a fan of Yoshi's Island, that's probably near probably closer to one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, potentially. I'd have to like examine that, but I've always liked how that game feels, even though it is brutal, and I will not try to 100% that. I thought I could at one time. And same with DS, as much as I liked it at the time and was excited, I will also admit that, you don't need the babies ultimately. Those last 2 games, Crafted and Woolly and Crafted, are tremendous games, and probably the best distillation of the Yoshi formula so far.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you too. Like Yoshi's Island, don't get me wrong, I love playing that game. I love that like cran aesthetic, and to go back to that, like they all, even the very first one had its like own unique aesthetic, it's great
looking game.
Yeah, really, really cool stuff, and like different level design. And I guess it's just like they're more open ended, where I feel like they're a little more focused on the newer games.
Yeah,
they're not necessarily linear, but they're a little more like you keep going down the path. Yeah, there's a hidden secret here and there, but it's limited. You can kind of just keep plugging along.
Yeah,
Yoshi's Island's like, I can do. It's like Sonic. I can just keep going up and up and up and up. Where does this level end?
Maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah, it's got that Sega level design kind of reminds me of those old Sega games.
That's fair.
But like with more purpose to it, because some of those Sega levels you're just like, what is this? It's just
calm down.
Copy and pasted platforms.
No, we're not going to take it that far. That's not fair.
Well, come on. Think about the original X-Men game on Sega. Like that's just like mindlessly running through platforms.
No, yeah, that game's not good. That's X-Men 2 was a way better game, even though you couldn't choose your character at the beginning, and there was some bullshit.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, that was a weird element of that game.
But no, that first X-Men is a weird game, and there's like sections with bees that attack you, and you're like, why?
It's pretty jank, man. Yeah. I remember that game being. I wanted it so bad. Like I was so not jealous, but like I remember my friend had a Genesis growing up, and I was like, I can't believe he has this X-Men game. Like they have nothing like this on Super Nintendo, man.
I remember the art on the cartridge was pretty cool too on that.
It was.
X-Men
I think it even
game.
came with like a poster too.
Yeah,
the original one, the first one, or maybe it was two, but I think it was the first one.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, maybe both.
Yeah.
I only have the first one on Genesis because I think X-Men 2 had the soft box.
Yeah, it was
situation.
a cardboard, 100%.
So
yes.
It
took me a while to find
across.
a good shape one because I had one when I was a kid and then somehow lost the cardboard, and had to find it again because I do really like that game for its flaws.
Yeah.
X-Men 2.
Yeah.
But that's
it's definitely an upgrade. It's definitely an upgrade from the first one. Yeah, definitely a little tangent there. And I guess one more little tangent to kind of wrap us up here before we close things out. For whatever reason, like I guess since I've been like busting out my DS and I've been playing them on my 3DS, but since I had it out and ready after playing some Yoshi's Island DS, not too long ago, I guess it's probably been a couple years now at this point. But for whatever reason, I thought I had played through Super Mario 3D World a second time and like left a second unbeaten file or something like that. Like I thought I had like played it halfway through. And if you're not familiar with this game, like not to totally spoil it, but like the way the game works is like you play through the whole like seemingly 8 worlds, like the whole game. And then after you beat it, it like unlocks this special world in like a kind of like very unceremonious way. Just like after you beat the game and like boot it up again, it's like, oh, there's an extra pipe here and you can go in here to go to special world. And like if you're not paying enough attention, you might just think like, oh, it's a hard mode, same levels but just hard mode. But it actually is a whole nother 8 worlds of like all the levels have similar themes to the levels that are in the first like playthrough of the game, but they're totally redesigned challenge levels of the game. And like I said, I thought I had a playthrough where I had played through the first like real chunk of the game and then left the second half to polish off the next time I had an itch to play the game. And when I went to go play it a couple years ago, I was like, oh, I already beat it all the way through, like both campaigns.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, that kind of stinks. But then for whatever reason, like I got the itch again and I was like, well, I guess I'll just start from scratch again this time. So now that I've got 2 fully completed files on there, I was like, well, why don't I just complete this third file on here? So I've beaten the full original game again, all 3 coins on every stage. Got the top of the flagpole on every stage. And then have not played. Maybe I played the first level of the special world. I can't remember, but like just got through all that again. And I have said this before, and I think I still stand by. It's a toss up between this or Mario Galaxy being my favorite Mario game.
Yeah.
And that might go for 2D or 3D.
Yeah.
I used to always say Super Mario World was my favorite Mario game. That was my first Mario game, or at least the one I had growing up. I think I played the original Mario Brothers at like my cousin or something. My cousin's, growing up or something over the years. But Super Mario World is like the game that I really cut my teeth on.
Oh, yeah.
And I still would put that right up there. But man, 3D Land. And I would love to see them port 3D Land to an actual console, because as much as I do actually love that 3D effect in the game too, like it doesn't do anything all that crazy with the gameplay. It just got kind of like a little bit of a pop out effect every now and then. You can kind of see, oh, there's something behind there, a little secret, but it's very minimal. It just kind of adds a little extra flavor.
Exactly. It's just like,
game, but
hey, this is coming out on the 3D console, so let's put let's put this here so you look through the view thing and like, ooh, cool 3D effect for a second. Like, and it is cool. but yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's superfluous. It's not. We don't have to have that in a Switch 2 port of 3D Land. And I'm honestly right there with you. And it was because of that second set of 8 worlds when that happened, and I started playing those levels. Like people, I think reviewers even at the time were trying to say like, 3D Land's too easy, or like that, and it made me wonder, like, did y'all just play the first 8 worlds? Did you not play like the whole basically second half of the game that kind of put, maybe not quite difficulty par with the hardest Marios, but like, you know, a more engaging challenge and wonderful design. And God, that second set of levels, I just remember like smiling most of the time when I was playing that. Like the 3D Land, those levels are just genius, and like the way that it feels and the mishmash between 2D and 3D works so beautifully, of like the kind of like corridor design, and sometimes it does go like pure side scroller too, and it just kind of like mixes those designs together as you flow through those levels and fight those bosses and the power-ups, and it's just like, it's an impeccable Mario game. I'm right there with you. I could easily put it on a given day as my favorite Mario game, and it's on a freaking portable system. It's on 3DS, and it's been stuck there now at this point. It's brilliant.
I would say the only levels where like the 3D really like becomes a more of a factor, it wouldn't be like a deal breaker or anything, but any of those levels where you're like kind of falling from up high and you're like jumping down, a lot of times you have like the Tanuki suit, and so you're like kind of hovering down and you're like dodging or landing on different clouds, and then you'll have to like land, like you'll be falling way from above.
That's right.
And the only way to get the top of the flagpole is to like land right on top of it, because there's nothing to actually jump off of down there.
Right.
And just little stuff like that, just little, I don't know. And the game's just so jam-packed with personality. And then I think the difference between this one and Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U is like they had to accommodate 4 players on the Wii U. So like a lot of those levels are like they stretched out those corridors into like these really fat hallways that like are kind of empty. Yeah. Like they almost feel like Super Paper Mario levels when you turn it into 3D mode and you're almost 2D mode or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good comparison. What came to mind for me is like maybe some of like the Mario 64 first levels too, or it's just like there's a little bit of openness here that's, you know, it was early 3D days.
If you go explore off the beaten path to like where that little Koopa is on the first level where you can like ride on his shell, it's like, okay, there's like this Koopa and a bunch of random stumps coming out of the ground over here. Like there's what is this? Why is this even here? You know, if you stay on the path, it seems kind of lively, but like, if you go off the path, you're like,
if I remember,
what is this here? Is this a little debug zone?
There might have been either a blue coin effect or
blue coin thing.
But I have that game seared in my mind, at least as of that age that I played it, that sort of thing.
No, but back to kind of what you're, at least sort of what you were saying, like it really is like the perfect and sort of what I was saying too, but like the perfect marriage, or like splitting the difference between, it's basically taking 2D level design from Mario games and then but giving you the move set and like the expressiveness of the 3D Mario controls, and then just giving you a little bit of that like beat 'em up isometric depth. But then also totally guiding the camera at all times.
And
like
you can
use the D-pad to like pan it to the left or right just to see your surroundings real quick.
Yeah.
But I almost wish every 3D game could play this way. I mean, not it wouldn't work, but like I love playing a game where I just don't really have to think about the camera, but I'm still fully immersed in a 3D, world that feels alive like this.
Totally. And not just because it's going for some cinematic effect and you're stuck on this one very specific path, and it feels like it's not because of that reason. It's because the camera is extremely well designed. It's just, you don't think about it. You don't have to think about it. It just is. And you just play Mario.
Yeah. The only time I ever think about the camera at all is just when I'm like going to re-explore a level that I missed some coins on.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what did I maybe miss a little secret area over here? And then I'll pan the camera left or right, but otherwise, I'd never even think about it.
Yep. You don't have to. It's not something you have to micromanage a la Mario 64. But again, one of the first 3D platformers and did it quite well considering. So I'm not hating on that either. Just
no, but even in a modern game, like I can't think of a good example, but any 3D game, that gives you the dual stick camera controls. I mean, I'm thinking about the camera in those games, where I'm not thinking about it when I'm playing Mario 3D Land.
Yeah, you kind of have to be your own director a lot of times. With that sort of control scheme and with dual stick stuff in 3D in a way that 3D
That's
Land
a great way to describe it.
Yeah. Oh God. It is. It's so good. I should play that game again, man.
It's awesome. I would love to someday, like obviously they've already re-released 3D World, but honestly, like a 2-pack, give me 3D Land and 3D World together,
or just 3D Land.
Or just 3D Land. I mean, it's that good of a game. It stands on its own. It doesn't need to be part of a package.
We'll do what they did with 3D World. Give me a Bowser's Fury equivalency of 3D Land stuff. Why not? Why can we do something with that, or just like an expansion upon this engine,
or even just add multiplayer in, even if it might not work. Like add a 2-player mode.
It still could though. I think it could.
Too. It doesn't feel so like claustrophobic that you wouldn't have enough space. By any means.
Yeah. Don't forget about 3D Land, Nintendo. It's phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. It's almost like a sequel to Mario 3 in a weird way.
Yeah,
it's almost like a weird sequel to Mario 3.
Yep. That's probably why I click with it so much too. You're right. Yeah, even a lot of the iconography pulls from
the blocks
3D.
that they use,
the music blocks,
you can jump up on the music notes. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, and like the full Tanuki suit, and this is pre-cat suit. There's no like real new. The only thing I think
just barely.
The only thing I can think of that they added new is like there's that one like kind of hat. It's almost like the block will turn into like the propeller hat.
Right.
It's different than the propeller suit from Mario, New Super Mario Brothers Wii, but it's like basically uses the same mechanic.
Yeah.
But that's really fun too. That's like that's like one of those are like a lot of those levels where you're like, you launch way up in the air and then you're like gliding down and navigating through the corridor.
I kind of forgot about that. That's true. That was and that is best with the 3D effect. They would have to find another way to do that, but I feel like they still could.
I feel like they could get it, working good enough.
Yeah.
And even if it lost a little bit of that effect here and there, like the level design and the gameplay is just so solid that it would stand on its own regardless. It's an amazing game.
It is.
If you've got a 3DS, you got to check this game out.
One of the best platformers Nintendo has ever developed, I would say, potentially.
I totally agree. But yeah, I think I've done more than enough gushing here for tonight. So
that's fantastic.
Anything else we want to gab about before we wrap things up here tonight?
No, I think that's perfecto. Let's leave it on that note.
Yeah, it's definitely perfect. And as always, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com. Next week we should have the full crew back in action.
Yeah.
Excited to hit the ground running this year and at least hopefully keeping this train rolling like I've been just like playing a ton of games and like actually putting some time into them instead of just like 5 or 10 minutes, 15 minutes here and there.
A whole new leaf.
So let me play this for like an hour. Yeah. Let me get at least an hour in at a time,
You get better impression.
Sit down again and play another hour. And then like, I'm actually like getting further into the game instead of just like a little taste, which I love doing, but like, let me get a little more of a taste,
Build the momentum with it. Yeah.
Yeah. And just not being so precious about like, I gotta get 100% like in Yoshi's Island, or I gotta, do the whole level and clear it out, or I just like get so like weird about needing to finish it, properly. And it's just like, no, just experience it the way I'm experiencing it. If I hit a wall, or even if I need to pull up a walkthrough.
Oh, for sure.
So be it.
Oh, definitely.
Just like I was talking about Metroid Prime Remastered.
Yes.
Like, instead of just booting this up again and getting stuck in the same spot that I always do, why don't I just pull up a walkthrough and just like nudge myself in the right direction when I need it?
Yes. So, instead of getting frustrated, or more likely just straight up flat out quitting it and probably never turning the game it back on.
Exactly.
Way better idea. Just use the lookup. We're way past the days of needing to do any of that sort of stuff, of being too good for a walkthrough lookup, or being too good to not 100% it or whatever and ruin your own fun. No, thank you. I just want to try. There's too many games, first and foremost, and I want to experience them. And you can't do that in a 5-minute turn on most of the time, even with a lot of retro stuff. It's worth exploring more than that amount of time. So yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, and especially back then, like in the retro days, even if you're not limiting yourself to the fact of like, yeah, I only was able to afford a few games a year.
Right.
There just weren't, even if there were hundreds of games coming out a year, there weren't like tens of thousands of games coming out. I mean, I don't know what the actual numbers are, but there's tons of games coming out literally every single day.
Seriously.
That you just can't keep up. At least back then you could kind of keep up with all the games that were coming out. Maybe you could never play them all, but you could at least know that they existed. I can't tell you how many times like dozens of games come across my path that I'm like, if somebody didn't email me to tell me about this game, I wouldn't even know it was here.
Yeah.
So,
let alone the collection of games that we both still have and have yet to put serious time into. Yeah, or touched at
someday.
All. Right.
Yeah, someday as I keep buying more and,
Yeah, me too.
looking for more room on the shelves. So.
As I just play more NBA 2K instead and never talk about that because it's not worth talking about. Yeah. Good Lord.
That's amazing. We got to get an update on that.
It's not worth
most recent version one of these days. But
maybe.
But yeah, I think we can probably wrap it up there for the evening here. And I think I might have said this already, but if not, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com. And as always, we'll be here next week. And until then, we'll catch you then and take care.
Bye-bye. Stop this recording too, also, because holy moly, this is testing fate.
Didn't even. Oh, holy fuck.